It's a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. What about your podcast that you've been doing for a
my
while?
podcast, Mango Bay, BAE. Follow us on Instagram at Your Mango Bay, YOUR.
Yeah, where'd you get the
MANGOBAE on Instagram. Follow a bitch.
do it now?
Yeah,
And
do
it's
it now.
you and your buddy.
YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Write us a review on iTunes, Apple Podcasts.
What about TikTok? You guys on the TikTok?
We're not really on TikTok yet because what we do isn't really companionable to
I get what you're
TikTok
saying.
either.
Yeah.
You know.
Although no, your partner Usama, right? He's constantly hitting you. Someone mentioned that in the YouTube comments.
Yeah. He loves
Like
hitting me.
physically.
Well, as South Asians, we're very tactile people. We touch a lot. You know, we touch each other a lot. We're always slapping each other, gripping each other. It's like we're very
Comes from childhood.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, we're trying to turn that nastiness into gold, into something nice. I guess putting hands on people.
Oh man. But yeah. So back to Mango Bay.
Yay, Mango Bay.
What was the inspiration for it and the name too? Where'd you
Well, the inspiration was just, this guy Usama is one of my best friends in the whole universe, and I love this guy, and whenever we get together, it's just a fucking good time, Like we'd been doing it long before there was a podcast. Of like he'd just come over sometimes, or we'd be on the phone, or I'd just run into him on the street or after a show or something, and we would just sit there and just we would just go, it would just be nonstop laughing. We'd have a great time. And we just knew when we first met that we had like good chemistry as friends.
Yeah,
you know?
I definitely, when you watch it, it seems like you guys are really good friends.
Yeah.
supernatural.
Yeah, it is.
Nothing.
It is supernatural. Hey, how about that? Supernatural indeed. Hello, how's my hair? A little bit flat
It looks
today.
great.
A little bit flat today.
Your hair is
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
What kind of products are you using?
None.
Yeah,
I think
right.
it's called genetics.
Wow, you have great genetics.
No hair products
Yeah.
for that?
No product. It ruins your hair after a while.
Oh, does it?
That's I gotta say, I'm a little
Yeah.
jealous. As a man with like very little hair, it's just getting worse
It's
each
a good
year.
look. You got a good look.
I'll take it.
It's a good look.
Oh, I'm jealous
You would
of
look
hair.
weird with this hair, I think. You would look like a fucking Las Vegas magician or something, the Korean Siegfried and Roy or some shit. Who nobody wants that. You're looking good.
I would still take it. It's like a top 3 complaint from my parents.
Yeah.
They're like, grow your hair out. I'm like, I can't grow it out. It's like impossible.
You gave me these jeans, Mom.
Yeah.
You have a response.
It's
You
like,
grow your hair out, bitch.
yeah, it's exactly. I can't do anything. So
Yeah, so tell us more about it. So you guys were good friends.
We were just great friends, and one time we say, hey, let's come over, like let's eat some mushrooms, let's have a good time. Then you and I were going to go to this like 24-hour classical Indian music concert together, and we had this plan.
okay.
All right.
And he came over, and we ate the shrooms, and then we were like, we're not going anywhere, dude. This is just too fun. We were just dying of laughter in my room. And we're mango people, that's our fruit. So we love mangoes. And he was sitting next to me on the couch, and we're just like fucking babbling like idiots or whatever. And he's feeding me dried mango. And I'm feeding him dried mango. He's like, you're my bae. I'm like, you're my mango bae.
Oh, that's great.
Like mango bae. Like what? And then somewhere over the course of the evening, we were like, dude, we should do a podcast together. We should actually do this. He had already been doing some podcast that was kind of shitty or whatever, and he didn't really like it.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's do a podcast together. And we started talking about what it could be. And then we sobered up, and we were like, yo, even sober, this is still an amazing
good
idea.
idea.
Yeah.
And so we never let it go of the idea. It wasn't the kind of thing where we just talked shit about it. We kept in constant conversation about what it would be like, how it's going to be, what we want to do with it, video, how we want to get, we're going to do it on my couch. We're going to do it there, And, about a year later, I need to check the time. It was like a year and a half later, we actually did it. Like we got it all together. We had a couple like trial runs of like, let's just record on my laptop. We'll do it. And then, okay, let's figure out the lighting and let's figure out the cameras. We didn't really have the expertise to do all that, but we did. We invested some money in getting some cameras, getting a couple lights, some audio stuff, and then we knew another comic, really great guy, funny guy too, who specializes in this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, look, I'll come on and just show you how to do it, and
Yep.
then you can do it and it'll be fine. But then he
Yeah.
came and he stayed with us for 2 episodes, and he's like, you know what, I think I want to keep coming back and just do this with you guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a great guy. We can't do it without him. He's an indispensable part of Mango Bay. Joe Russell, big shouts, hilarious guy.
Yeah.
Great guy, extremely talented. And so it's not the same without him, you know? And so it's every Saturday we get together and we chop it up. And then, you know, we're like, well, listen, we want to put some clips out on Instagram.
Yep.
And then that started to evolve. And then we got this other really great guy, Bengali guy named Iffy Kaisar. Shouts to Iffy, who does a lot of subtitling for comedy. And he was really into our thing. And he's a huge fan of Usama's.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, I can help you with your clips. I can help you with this. And
That's
then
awesome.
then he just, his role has also kind of expanded and grown. And he's really so instrumental to our growth, especially online. Like,
Yeah.
and he's extremely talented.
Yeah.
There's nobody better in the business than Iffy Kaisar. So,
Wow.
you know, we're really blessed to be working with amazing,
Yeah, look at a
talented,
whole team.
passionate
I know.
people. And we look forward to everybody being able to pay ourselves at some point. you know?
Yeah, no, I think like the thing that I noticed when we're like scouting out potential people to like invite to the show.
Yeah.
What you guys have, it's like professional, and it does make a difference. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're not funny, then it would never work.
Yeah, it's true.
But there is a difference between like you guys have like a really great intro. You guys have like the great like
Joe
screen.
Russell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
awesome.
I like the video of you both.
Yeah. Wait, what do you
That's
mean?
pretty great. But now that I know where the story comes from,
Right,
like
right.
Mango Bay, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And that guy, I was listening to one of the pods, and it was funny because you guys talk about Joe, and like as someone that's pretty new to the show, I'm like trying to figure out who the guy is.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, oh, he might be the guy like behind the camera, behind the scenes. And the one thing that I think was a fairly recent episode was funny. It was talking, Usama was talking about the fact that someone I think hit him up in his DMs
For Joe.
for yeah or something like that. Yeah.
No, it was me. It was somebody. It was
okay.
It was somebody who got in the comments section of like an Instagram post of mine.
Close, yeah.
And it was like a bit of a thirst trap that I was posting, just vain selfies, which I post on my Instagram because people like that. And so he was like, "Ooh, you're a high key baddie." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And then this person came back. They're like, "Joe's a high key baddie too." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "You better tell Joe yourself. Tag Joe." And Joe's like, "Yes, indeed, I am a baddie." But yeah, people are feeling the vibe. Joe figures into a lot of our episodes now because now Joe chimes in. He's a really funny dude.
Yeah.
And you know, we always joke that he's a pedophile, even though he's not. He's definitely not a pedophile. He is. No, he's not. He's not at all. He's the best dude. He's got a wonderful of age girlfriend. Emphasis on girl of the age of
checked the
6.
ID?
No, she's an adult. She's great. Also a very talented person, and so. But it's fun, you know. He's just in there. He's part of it. Joe's kind of our first audience in a way, you know, because we see
Because he's there. As
and
your-
Joe's a fairly stoic guy.
Really?
He's a fairly stoic guy. So, you know, when Joe laughs or Joe smiles at something, you're like, that is probably atomically funny. You know, if it got enough of reaction
From him? Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
And you guys prep like every week what you guys are going to talk about. It just seems like you guys talk about whatever.
Just that
happening,
seems like
whatever's
just
going
random
on.
shit,
we
right?
really get pretty random. We have a topic
Yeah.
and we'll talk about the topic and we'll be serious about the topic. I think we say like really intelligent things about the topic, but like we're in this for comedy, you know?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
whatever comes to our mind, we're just popping off with dumb shit. Dumb, hilarious, beautiful, and brilliant shit. You
I
know?
do like I saw the one about like the first time buying condoms.
Oh my
Which I
God,
thought that
that's
was
so
hilarious.
good.
Oh, and
It's
it's
such a great
Oh,
story.
okay. I was like, that is true. Like, when was the first time you bought condoms?
Yeah, and we try to keep the content relatable, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Last episode we shot, or a couple episodes ago that we shot, we were supposed to talk about something really serious, but Usama and I were just like in the zone too much with
Yeah.
each other
Yeah.
and just vibing that the episode just went so far off the rails of just like this is just pure laughs and this is just pure jokes and it's amazing. And we're like, you know what? We're just going to call this episode Taj Foolery, you know,
Taj Foolery.
Taj Foolery, and keep an eye out for that. Should be on within the next month. It's an unbelievable episode, but it's just pure laugh, pure riff, pure vibe. Those are our fans are in it for that. They're not in it because they want to hear like a serious discussion about this issue. They know they'll get a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And they know they'll get some relatability, especially Brown fans, about things from our childhoods and stuff like that. But most of our fans are pretty diverse.
Yeah.
And so they're really there for the vibe. They're there for the laughs,
I think it's also cool too for someone that's like probably not as versed in the culture, because you get a bit of that too. I was
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, even just doing research when I was checking out the pod before this, I was like, oh, I think I learned some like stuff.
Tons of people will hit us up in the DMs and be like, I had no idea about these kinds of things. Didn't know about basic
Yeah, that
culture.
is true.
Believe this is actually really informative too. And
Yeah.
we're glad to be that. We're super happy to be that.
Yeah, it's awesome. The pod, I'm sure you get this a lot with Hassan Minaj.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about? And like, is that someone that you had known for a while?
So Hassan, who's obviously an amazing, talented, extremely talented guy, and a generous, great dude as well. Usama has been doing comedy a lot longer.
He's been on the circuit.
He's been doing it like probably twice as long as I have.
Yeah.
And so I think just as he was starting to come up, Hassan was starting to pop off and get really big. And so they knew each other, they knew each other in the scene, and he had his number, and he's like, let's just get him. He's a good guy, and if he says yes, that'll be great. And, lo and behold, Hassan was like, hey, I can't do it right now, but hit me up in a couple months. And he did. He's like, yo, let's do it. Come to my studio. Super generous with his time. He was right in the middle of doing Patriot Act stuff and that all, everything that he does. And he was just great. He was hilarious. He was charming. He was everything that you would have wanted out of a guest.
Yeah.
Not like me right now. I'm
Yes,
kidding.
you are.
Um,
You've been awesome.
Seriously, yeah.
I'm kidding, of course.
No,
not.
She's great. Great hair, personality.
Great jewel chain.
Great jewel chain.